Hey guys, Brandon Wren here, the Nashville bassist, coming to you with a new video. Today we're going to be doing a review on the new Union Tube and Transit Lab compressor pedal. And it's freaking awesome. All right, guys, so the new Union Tube and Transistor Lab compressor pedal. Man, would you take a look at this thing. This is easily the coolest looking pedal I've ever seen in my life. It's sleek, it's super clean. It's got kind of that retro vintage vibe. It's like something you would find in a studio, handmade, that they had in the studio back in the days, you know, back in the 60s and 70s and things like that. This thing is super cool. Outside of it looking amazing, this thing sounds incredible. It is hands down my favorite compressor pedal I've ever played through in my entire career. It is fantastic. So Union Tube and Transistor, what a company. They are based out of Canada, up in Vancouver. They're a smaller company and they put these things out in small batches. And it seems to be that once they hit the shelves, they tend to go super quick. A lot of people are after this pedal, so they can be kind of hard to get. But I was lucky enough to finally get my hands on one. This thing is amazing on bass. And it's really going after kind of that LA 2A sound, and it does it extremely well. It's nice and warm and vintagey. It gives you such a cool vibe. It really helps your bass set super well in the mix. And I'm super excited about adding this to my pedal board. It is fantastic. So if you're hearing all the cicadas outside, they are extremely loud out here where I live, which can kind of make it hard to do videos like this. Luckily, I don't do any live room tracking here in my studio. I just do some bass tracking from here. That's what it's set up to do. But we're just gonna push through and just kind of have them as background music today. Let's go ahead and dive into this pedal and I'll show you all the different features, and then we're gonna jump over to the studio and let you hear it. All right, guys, so let's take a look at what we've got going on with this pedal. It is a 2-knob compressor, but it is extremely versatile in what it does. So we've got the 2 knobs up top, we've got this foot switch, we've got an LED light, this really, really cool metal badge that they put on here with the Union logo. We've got 2 1/4-inch jacks up top, 1 input, 1 output, and then we've got our 9-volt DC power source. This thing is a solid metal construction and it is built extremely well. It's fairly lightweight, so you don't have to worry about adding too much weight to your pedal board. So the foot switch is extremely tactile. It gives you a lot of feedback, but it's not super hard to depress. So that's really, really cool. I like that it gives me a lot of feedback, so I know when it's on and when it's off. Of course, you can also tell with that LED light. Now the LED light is really cool too, because when the pedal is on, it's green. But as you start hitting that compression, it goes from green to yellow to orange to red, depending on how hard you're driving and using that compression. So that's really cool that it gives us some feedback. I do like that this is really simple and it doesn't have any type of meters on it, which forces us to use our ears, which I think is extremely important, and a better way to go about setting anything with any of our gear is to use our ears instead of relying on sight and seeing some numbers on there and being like, oh, it needs to be set at this number. I like being able to use my ears to really dial this in. But I do like having that light that changes colors to show me how hard I'm hitting the compressor. So one thing you may be asking is this a transparent compressor? Is it transparent? And I would say no, it is not really a transparent compressor. It does give you some color and some texture, which honestly I really like. Now it is very subtle in what it does, but it does give you a little extra oomph, a little extra just warmness and niceness to your tone. I really, really like it. With a lot of compressor pedals, they can get a little too gnarly, and a lot of people use them more as an effect than really to necessarily even out their sound. I wouldn't say that this is really a pedal that you can necessarily use as an effect. Now, if you were to really turn on the compression and really squash it out and get that kind of effect that a lot of people like. Yes, you can achieve that with this pedal, but this is more of a subtle pedal that's just gonna really allow you to be able to fit in the mix better, get some more sustain. It's gonna give you a little more vibe, a little more warmth, and it's gonna help you just really kind of sit better in the mix. But like I said, it is very subtle in my opinion. Now, transparent compressors can be awesome. I love transparent compressors and what they do. They allow you to sit better in the mix without really affecting or coloring your tone too much. This thing does give you some color. It does give you some vibe, but it is extremely nice. Now, I would say this pedal is extremely musical, and it's both subtle and gnarly at the same time. And here's what I mean by that. You can get super squashed with this pedal. You can get super gnarly with it. But the gap between little to no compression and squashing it out is very wide. It's got a broad band between those two extremes. So it's very subtle in its movement, working its way up. But once you start getting up there, you can get extremely gnarly and squashed with your tone. It's just got a wide band between those 2 points. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and jump over to the studio and give you a few tones.
All right, guys, so let's go ahead and give you some tones. So we'll start with the pedal off, and we'll give you some tones and let you get a good baseline of what our bass tone sounds like. And then we'll turn the pedal on, and we'll start doing some things to it. And throughout the video, I'll turn the pedal off and on so you can kind of get a reference of what the pedal is actually doing to our sound. So our signal chain is pretty easy or pretty simple today. We are running into our D'Addario tuner pedal. That's going straight into our compressor. From our compressor, we're going straight into our Ampeg SGT DI, and then that goes right into my mixer and phone. So pretty simple signal chain. I've adjusted my tone just a little bit so to try to make it as clear as possible so you can really see what this pedal is doing. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So here is our tone. So this is just our SGT DI without the compressor. And here's what we have. All right, so let's go ahead and turn the compressor on, and I think you'll notice that when we kick this compressor on, with everything turned down, it's going to be pretty transparent to the tone that we have right now. So I'll give you the tone again, and then we'll switch it on and let you see the difference. Now let's switch our pedal on. So as you can see, it is extremely transparent when we don't have any of our output or compression turned up. When both of those are turned all the way down, and we turn this pedal on, it's pretty transparent. There's a very minuscule change in the tone. It's hard to tell, but it is there a little bit. I can tell a little bit that it does change it a little bit, but it's very minuscule, almost unnoticeable. So it's pretty transparent, and I like starting from that starting point to where when everything's turned down on this pedal, it's pretty transparent to our tone. And then, of course, then from there, we'll add our color and obviously our compression and things to even things out. But starting off with the bass line here, it's pretty transparent, and I really like that. It's really cool. So let's go ahead and we will... what I'll do now is I'll just hit a note and let it ring out, and then I'm going to crank this up and let you see just how much it squashes it. Now, obviously, we're going to lose a lot of volume because we're not going to touch the makeup gain yet. So we're going to lose a lot of volume, but it'll show you just how much compression or how gnarly this can get and how much it can squash everything that you're putting through it. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's give you this note and we'll let it ring out. I mean, almost takes it all the way away. So you can see it squashes quite a bit. Now, obviously, if we have this turned up, we're going to turn up our makeup gain to bring the volume back. But you can kind of see what it does, how gnarly it can get. It can squash your tone to almost nothing. So it can get gnarly, but it's very subtle as you go up. Now, if you dime it out, obviously you can get quite a bit of compression. But this, like I said, this is an extremely musical pedal. It's very subtle in its movements, but it definitely does make a difference. And especially when you get it in the mix, that's when you're really, really going to notice what this pedal's doing and how it's letting your instrument sit in the mix. So let's start out here. We're going to go up just a little bit on compression. So we'll see if we can get that LED to change a little bit. Remember, our LED, as it's hitting that compression, it'll go from green to yellow to orange to red, depending on how much compression, how hard we're hitting it. So let's see if we can turn this up just a little bit and get this to change at all. So let's see what it sounds like. All right, so definitely getting a little bit of compression there. We still have a lot of dynamics. If you can hear, we can play soft. Well, that's as soft as it's letting it go right there. Then we can play super loud. That's as loud as it's going to let us go. So you can see it's definitely kicking in orange. So we still got a good bit of dynamics right there, but obviously doing some compression. Now, that's a great place to start. If you don't like a lot of compression, that'd be a great place right there because it's giving you a little bit of evenness, a little bit of squash, but not too much. So we were definitely changing it there. It actually got into the orange on that. So let's bump it up just a little bit more and see what we got. All right, so we're definitely starting to really kind of hear that compression. Man, it sounds really good. We were staying up in the orange, kind of creeping up into the red a little bit there. Obviously, we've lost some volume, so let's go ahead and give a little volume back with our makeup gain here. All right, let's go ahead and turn it up even with the other knob. And remember I said that these knobs are very much in tune with each other. As you turn this one up, if you turn this one up at the same rate, it pretty much stays even. So they're very much in sync with each other. So right now we got them set about the same. Let's go ahead and check that out. All right, first off, you'll have to forgive my bass playing. I wasn't even focusing on what I was doing. I was watching the pedal, so I messed up there, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so that's sounding really good. It's really starting to even out our tone. You know, kind of keep things across our strings even, and just give us this just nice kind of warm tone to it as well. super nice in what it's doing. So let's go back and forth between the two. So let's go off. Now let's turn it on and hear what it does. So yeah, definitely evens things out, and I can really feel it through my fingers. It really translates through my fingers. I can really feel how it's responding by the way I'm hitting the string. I hope you're able to hear that, because it's really doing a good job. Definitely evening things out. I'm really liking the way it's working, what it's doing. Now, obviously, I hope you're listening to this through some good headphones, or some really good speakers, some playback speakers or something. Because if you're just listening to this on your iPhone speaker or something like that, you're not going to get the full effect of what this is doing. So, obviously, I hope you got on at least some pretty decent headphones with good bass response and all of that. So. Let's go ahead and bump up a little more. Let's turn this up. Let's go ahead and just go on up to noon. And let's bump this up, but we'll keep it down a little bit, and let's see what we got. So let's go back and forth between our tones. And we'll turn it on. Definitely hearing the squash now. Definitely getting up there. I like this noon territory on the knobs when we got them set in about the noon position, 11:30 to 12:30, maybe 1, but somewhere in there. I really like the sounds that I'm getting when these knobs are up in those positions. Now, that was a little bit low on some of the bite and stuff for me. So I definitely would bring this up even. Sorry about my camera going in and out of focus there when my hand comes into frame, but sometimes that happens. So we've got them both set at about noon. All right, so let's get our tone. Let's kick this off and listen and see what we got. Yeah, now we're really getting it. Now this is where I'm liking it for sure. I like having both of these in the noon position. It's one of my favorite settings on this pedal. Like I said, these knobs, for me personally, and what I'm looking for and what I want, these knobs, either one of them set somewhere between like 11:30 and 12:30, for me sounds like it's kind of the sweet spot. Now, I do like to have my makeup gain a little bumped up more than my compression, just so it gives me a little bit more of that bite that I'm looking for. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll turn this up to about the 12:30 position. Okay, not quite 1 o'clock, but a little above 12. And here's what we've got. Yeah, that's gold right there. That sounds fantastic. Let's take it back down just to show you the difference. So down here it's just a little bit smoother. But we don't have that bite, so we bump this up just a little bit. Just gives us a nice bite. Just having that gain just bumped up just a little bit more than our compression is. I really like that. Once I get, and it seems to be, once I get to the 12 o'clock position with these knobs, I'm liking actually having my makeup gain just a little ahead of my compression knob, just to give me a little bite. So once we start getting up in that 12 o'clock territory and more, I've noticed that I'm bumping this up just a little bit more, not keeping it so much in line. Like I said, it just kind of gives me a little bit more of the bite that I'm looking for. So let's turn this down to the 11:30 position. So now we've got kind of a mirror image of our knobs here, and let's see what we've got. That's super, super nice. I really, really like that sound. That's really, really nice. We bumped the compression down just a little bit, which gave us just a little bit more dynamics back, but not much. But man, that's a great setting. One of my favorite settings on this pedal, for sure. So let's see here. Let's bump this down to 11:30 and bump our compression up to 12:30. And kind of run there and see what we've got. So that's very, very nice. It's definitely a lot smoother. It's not as bitey. It definitely smooths things out and gives us a nice, rich, warm tone. But I do feel like the gain for me is just a little bit low. So I would at least bump that up to the 12 o'clock position, and actually I would bump it up right in line with our compressor. So let's try it there. Very, very nice. I like that setting. I really like that setting. That's really, really, really nice. But I think my favorite setting so far is having that compression at about 12 o'clock and then this bumped up at about 12:30. Yeah, I like the way that responds. And like I said, even bumping that back down. Super, super, super nice. I can't pick which one I like better. If I like that better, if I like that better, or if I just like both of these at noon, which seems to be just really kind of a sweet spot for this pedal. Let's get it sit right there. All right. Man, there's just something about that setting right there that just really feels good to my fingers, the way it translates, the way I'm hitting the strings and the response. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with it more. But somewhere in that 12 o'clock, like I said, 11:30 to 12:30 position, either one of these knobs in that 11:30 to 12:30 position just feels like such a sweet spot for me. It gives me a lot of what I'm looking for, but not too much. And I really, really like that. So let's kick the pedal off, give you our baseline tone again, and then we'll kick it on and see what it's doing. All right, so man, that sounds really good by itself. I've got a fairly even plucking hand. I tend to hit all my strings pretty evenly, and I've worked on that a lot over the years, especially um, doing a lot of studio work and stuff. But so I play fairly evenly to begin with, but this adds so much. So let's give you that one more time. And kick it on. So yeah, man, that really does so much. It evens out everything so much. And like I said, when you get this thing in the mix, that's where it's really going to shine, and you're really going to be able to hear this. But man, it sounds so good. But really, it translates so well under my fingertips. Just the response of everything, the way my fingers are feeling the strings in conjunction with how I'm hearing my tone. Your brain kind of puts those together, so it helps your fingers actually kind of feel the tone and the sound and just the kind of the response of things. And I'm definitely feeling a total different response with this pedal on than I do with it off with my fingers. It's so nice. It makes things so smooth, and really in a way it kind of affects my playing, but in a good way. It's like, I don't know. It just feels so good the way it responds. Everything just feels just nice and tight and like right there where it's supposed to be. Nothing's poking out too much. Now we still got a little bit of dynamics here, so I can play really, really soft. Now I'm playing softer than it's actually what it's giving me, because obviously it's bringing that threshold up. So that's as low as it's going to go. But then we can get louder. Now that's as loud as we can go. So there's not much dynamics there, but there still are some. There's still a little bit of dynamics on each side. And man, I really like that. I like the way it's sitting. I really do. Depending on what I was doing, if there's some song that I really needed more dynamics, I would either kick this pedal off or adjust the settings. But most of the time, this is how it's going to stay. Because I'm one of those people that I want my compressor to give me what I want, and it's pretty much going to stay on all the time. And not really be adjusted most of the time. So, so I would call this I wouldn't call this a heavy compression. I would call this a moderate compression. We still got a tad bit of dynamics, but obviously it's brought those two extremes together more. So, but man, I really like what it's doing. It lets everything sit so much more evenly that, you know, there's not a string or a fret that's giving me a little more, and others are kind of falling off. It's just, it really evens out the sound so much, and makes everything just sit so better and sound so much better. I'm such a huge fan of this pedal. Such a huge fan of this pedal. I really love what it does. All right, so let's go ahead and crank it up some. We're going to go ahead and turn this gain on up, and we'll give you a good bit of gain. So as I'm getting almost all the way up, we're getting a little bit of noise, a little bit of hiss, but obviously that's going to happen. That's going to happen with anything when you turn the gain up that much. But that's almost all the way up, and it's still pretty quiet. So that's nice. I don't think I would ever have it up that high, but that's nice. You can get close to diming it out. Of course, here it's dimed. You can definitely hear some of that extra noise there, but once we get down to there, that's fairly quiet, guys, for having gain pushed up that much. So we're going to kind of keep it right there, and then we're going to bring our compression up to match. Actually, let's just go ahead and dime out the compression. And here's what we've got. So definitely a lot of squash, really affecting our tone at this point. I would never play with this much compression, but it is there. You can definitely do it. But let's. Oh yes, so we've still got some dynamics. Not a lot, but we do still have some. Let's turn this gain down a little bit, but keep that kind of up there. Yeah, a lot of squash. Now that's way too much for me. I don't think at any point I would ever have that much compression. All right, so let's keep it somewhere in here and see what we've got. Bring it down a little more. Let's bring it back down, kind of where I like it. Let's just put it back, kind of in that new position. Guys. Yeah, God, that sounds so good. Let's bump this up just a tad. Guys, I love this pedal. I think it sounds fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. This is hands down one of my favorite, if not my favorite, compressor pedals I've ever come across. I really like it. I love the subtleties of it. I love the little bit of color it gives me. But man, it's just it's what I've looked for in a compressor pedal for a long time. And I know there's other compressor pedals out there that are somewhat similar. There's one, the BBE. I think it's the Octastomp, and there's a few different versions of it now, or maybe a few different generations. I'm not sure. The one I remember was just like a flat silver-looking pedal with some black writing on it. I think one of the newer ones is like yellow and silver, maybe red and silver. I can't remember. But that was from what I remember, a pretty cool two-knob optical compressor, which I tend to gravitate more towards those optical compressor pedals. And I liked it a lot, but man, it's nowhere close to this one. I've played through a lot of different ones, and I've just never come across one that gives me what I want, that kind of gives me the warm tones that I want. That's pretty subtle in what it does, but definitely gives me some response where I can hear it and feel it. I do like transparent compressors. The newest one from API, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's the blue API compressor pedal. Excuse me. And it's a really, really good one. My favorite one on the market outside of this one is going to be the Caveman Audio BC1. And it is a fantastic compressor, but very, very transparent. It's designed to be like a studio compressor, an overall compressor. And it's fantastic in what it does. Very, very subtle. Extremely subtle in what it does, but man, does it make a difference in the mix, and you can really tell. This thing is a lot the same way. It's where this is not what I would call a transparent compressor. It does give you a little bit of color. You can definitely tell it's got a little bit of vibe of its own, but man, it's such a nice vibe. But it's very subtle in what it does, but it really makes it stand out and do what it's supposed to in all the right places. It's really fantastic. Yeah, guys, I'm super impressed with this thing. There's a reason why it's in demand. Like I said a couple times, this company is still a little bit unknown. You know, it's not super well known yet. It seems to me anyway. But the people who know about them they're jumping to get on this to get this pedal. And like I said, it seems like once they make a batch of them and put them out, they're gone. They're gone super quick from what I'm seeing. Every time I thought I've had a line on getting one, it's been gone. Or somebody gets to it like seconds before me. They go quick. They are fantastic. And there's a lot of people that have said this is one of the best pedals. And I'm in agreement. I think this is one of the best compressor pedals I've ever heard. It's fantastic. Like I said, I've looked for compressor pedals for a long, long time. And I've played through so many of them. And I got to the point where I was like, I don't like compressor pedals. I don't like them. I just don't. I do like using compression in the studio. I've run a lot of LA2As. I like that. I've even thought about buying LA2A or like an LA2A clone. And there's a few companies that make them, and they sound phenomenal. And putting it in a rack and taking it with me, but that's just not always the best, or you know, it's not always the best option. I can generally take my small flight rack with my SKB case anywhere I can fly with it. I've designed it to fly with, but sometimes it's just not as feasible. And then a lot of times I just don't want to lug that thing around and fly with it and, you know, carry it through the airports and stuff. So I've been looking for a good pedal option for a long time, and I finally found one, and I'm back in the compression game. I've never played with a lot of compression. Even still, you know, the way I'm going to be setting this one, I don't feel like it's a lot of compression. it may be more than some people play with, you know. Just depends on, you know, what exactly you're looking for. You know, I definitely want to even out my tone, but if you want a little bit more dynamics, this thing can do it. You just turn that compression down a little bit and just get it set right, just to kind of hit those outliers and stuff, and it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. If you're wanting like an extreme effect or like extreme compression, I don't think this is the pedal for you, obviously, because this is less like a compressor pedal that people kind of use as an effect, and more of a musical compressor to just really even out your tone and give you some nice warmth and just help you sit better in the mix. But I can't say enough about this thing, guys. I'm really impressed. It sounds really, really, really good. I like the way that it's pairing with my SGT DI, which I'm impressed with more by the day. I've gotten more compliments on this pedal, the SGT DI. It's a phenomenal, this one right here. It's a phenomenal DI pedal. And I think it's where it's gotten a lot of attention and it's gained a lot of popularity and created a lot of buzz. I still think to a degree that it's underrated, undervalued, and slept on by a lot of people. This thing is phenomenal, especially if you know how to dial it in and use it. And I've dialed it in a little bit different than I would normally dial in a DI pedal. And it's fantastic. There's another DI pedal that I'm looking at getting. I'm looking at getting the Caveman Audio BP1. It's fantastic. And I think that thing's going to go extremely good with this compressor pedal. But man, I love this SGT DI. It's fantastic. It just offers so much, and it's got phenomenal tone. But paired with this compressor, man, it's killer. It's unstoppable. So I've had people already comment on the tones. So give it to Union Tube and Transistor. And if you've heard me say throughout this video or some throughout this video, I think I said it in the intro. I'm going to have to make a correction. I keep calling this Union Tube and Transit, and I don't know why. I don't know why I keep calling it Union Tube and Transit. And I think I'm thinking tube as far as like, you know, subway, the tube, and transit. And Nashville, we've got Union Station, which is an old, you know, train depot. So I think subconsciously in my head, I don't know what I'm thinking, but I keep calling this thing the Union Tube and Transit. And it's the Union Tube and Transistor. I don't know why I keep doing that, but sorry about that. But yeah, I got to hand it to the guys at Union Tube and Transistor. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. They make a lot of products for guitar. They make a couple for bass. They've got this one. They've got I think it's called the Sub Fuzz or the Sub something, but I think it's called Sub Fuzz. And it's a fuzz pedal, and for fuzz pedals, it's fantastic. I'm not a super huge fan of fuzz pedals, but it's great. And as far as fuzz pedals goes, really cool. So definitely check that out for bass. Yeah, I hope to see more from them in the future, specifically for bass guitar, because they make some excellent things. This thing is fantastic. Obviously, I've said throughout this video, this is designed to somewhat go after that kind of LA2A type vibe, and it does it super well. Did they build this specifically for bass? I don't know. I don't think so. I think they just built it to be LA2A-ish. So whatever you want to put through an LA2A, you can put through this. So I don't know if it was, you know, designed with a specific instrument in mind, if it was designed more for guitar or for bass or for both or for anything you want. I don't know what their thought process was, but I do know that they were making this to kind of go after that LA2A with maybe some of their own flavor. And man, have they hit it out of the ballpark. This thing is fantastic. Anyway, guys, appreciate you guys watching. I'm sure I'll be doing more videos on this thing in the future. I had it out for one show this weekend. First show I've done with it. Only had one show this weekend. And, man, it was super nice. Super nice. All right, guys, so there you go. Appreciate you guys watching there again. And stay tuned for a couple more words.
All right, guys, so I hope you like this review. I really wanted to do this review right and spend some time on it. And I did want to say a couple more things about the pedal, as if you haven't heard me talk enough about this pedal already. But I did want to share just a little bit more with you. I spent a couple days making this video. As you can see, I'm wearing something totally different than I was in the beginning of the video. But I really wanted to make this video and do it right and really showcase and highlight this product in the best way that I can. So I did want to spend some time on it. I shot the majority of the video that first day. And then I had a day after that where I had some things going on and spent a little time with the pedal. Then I was out of town for a show, which I got to play with this compressor pedal. And then I had yesterday, which was more family time for me, getting back home. And then today I decided to spend a little more time and shoot a little more video. And like I said, I really wanted to do it right for this video and for this product. But I did get to have some real world experience with this out on the road this weekend. And all I can say is I'm even more confirmed in my decision to purchase this pedal. It's absolutely fantastic and phenomenal. It sounded great. I got compliments on it. And yeah, there's nothing greater than somebody complimenting your tone and what's going on with your tone, which led me to be like, well, yeah, it's partly this DI and this new compressor that I got here. Check this out. This is, go into the whole spiel about it and maybe, showcase it to somebody else. And I like doing that. I like being able to showcase products that I believe in, especially from companies that are a little lesser known. And for whatever reason, it seems like this company is not like super huge yet. Now, it seems they're fairly well known within the musical community, and there's a lot of people jumping on this pedal. Like I said, it sells out almost as soon as they put a new batch out. So obviously the word's getting out and they're doing something right. But anytime I can help elevate, even to just a couple people, a company or a product that I believe in, I love being able to do that. Because it seems like these people have a passion for what they do, and it shows in their work. The craftsmanship, the function, the tone of this pedal, but even just the look and craftsmanship of this pedal is top tier. So you can tell that they put a lot of time into this. It's fantastic. But I just wanted to share that little bit more with you, and yeah. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more content. Check out all my other content that I've got out there on YouTube and various other places. Appreciate you guys watching so much. I've gotten quite a few views on a couple of my videos, and I'm hoping to really start trying to build this channel and get it out there to more people. And a lot of that is me being able to showcase amazing products like this. I appreciate you guys watching so much. Stay tuned for more content. There again, I'm Brandon Wren, the Nashville Bassist. We'll see you guys later.